Well, hello there tonight, guys. How are ya? How'd you like my boo
What's
boo? What
poppin'?
is this? What is this? Yes, I did that to myself. I've been accident prone this week. Yes, that's
Oh,
me.
we need to get our bubble.
That's what your aunt said. She said we need to get a bunch of bubble wrap. Um, well, I usually start with the weather, and that, but before I begin anything, I want to make a couple statements. First of all, anybody who knows us knows that we absolutely love Casper site. Let's all please go to his channel. If you don't want to subscribe, I know he thinks the same. That's up to you, but please subscribe. The guy is amazing. He's wonderful. He's funny. Unfortunately, he has gone through some losses over the past year. 8 months ago, he lost his mother, and just a few days ago, he lost his brother. So let's all reach out to Casper Site and send him some love and support and our deepest sympathies, because he truly is an amazing guy and he deserves all the support and love that we can send him. Second statement I want to make, I know the gentleman doesn't know me, but a lot of people will know him in the paranormal world. His name is Mike Castro. He just recently came out and he made a video about the Conjuring House. Now, he didn't come out, he didn't bash anybody. All he did was update on the facts surrounding the cell or potential cell, and documents that were pertaining to the cell, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I believe that I just saw somewhere that he's getting some slack because of his video. Why, I don't know, but we live in this ugly paranormal world, this ugly paranormal community that nobody knows how to mind their own business, and nobody can say anything positive to each other. And I hate to say it, a lot of it comes from the debunking community. And no, I'm not cutting them down. I'm not blaming it all, but it just, leave people alone. We said this is going to be a good, positive year. Let's all reach out and make it a positive year for everybody. We don't need this. So, with that being said, I wasn't sure how I was going to come on tonight, because I kind of thought I was going to come on with sunglasses, because I don't think it's in my eyes. I'm not sure. But the mark here, I was going to put sunglasses on, but it's still pretty tender. So I was afraid that if I put sunglasses on, that it would be sore. It would kind of irritate my nose. So the other thing I wanted to say is, if anybody comes to this channel, which we welcome everybody, I hope you realize when you come on, they're like, oh, they don't got a fancy intro. Oh, they don't got all these videos. Oh, they don't got this. That's us. We are raw. We are true. We are pure. We don't need all that fancy stuff. This is who we are. Our format is us talking to you like as if you were sitting in our own living room or our own dining room with us discussing a topic. We don't need the fancy intros. We don't need the fancy outros. We don't need the fancy videos. We don't need all that. This is us. This is who we are, and we're not going to change. So if you're expecting anything other than what we're giving you, then I guess we're not the channel for you. And I'm sorry about that. But if you like what we do, here we are. This is us. This is how we're going to remain. So, what?
Pure Gabby.
So,
Yes, me
I
and my
usually
raw
start out,
form.
we are in a cold snap. Linda, I know it's coming your way. I don't know about any snow, but I'm hearing the temperatures down south are really a lot colder what they normally are. Our temperature today got up to 18-ish. Right now they said it's 7 degrees, but it feels like -2. So it's now, the weird thing is, tomorrow is supposed to get back up into the 30s with a possible some snow. I guess not a lot of accumulations, only to drop back down into the low teens to single digits again to only go back up. So we're in that roller coaster for the next couple weeks. It's just that's Pennsylvania weather for you. We can go from summer to spring to fall to winter all in a 24-hour period. So that's it. We missed the snow. Oh, I know from what I was reading, Linda, is that I think this weekend they're saying that a lot of snow, like a possible winter snowstorm, is supposed to hit the southern states, and they said it could go down as far as the Carolinas and Georgia. Now, I don't know about Florida, but it is supposed to dip down. Maybe we'll send some of our snow to you, because we're really not getting a lot of snow. Right now, we're getting the more frigid temperatures, which, to be honest with you, I'd rather take the snow, because at least when it's snowing, it's hovering right around the freezing mark. It doesn't usually go like what it is now. I don't even dare try to go outside when it's like this. So
yeah, I kind of have to when I come over here, but it was cold.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
stepped on a thorn.
I know. I went outside today without my coat net on just to check to see if we got any mail, and that was probably a stupid thing to do, but I did it.
At least it was only for a few
Well,
minutes.
hello there, Biscuit.
Squid.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to crazy.
Welcome to this mad world we call our world. It's where our normal may not necessarily be your normal. But okay, the topic tonight, I don't know if you saw my title. My title is it not a deer or is it a not deer? So the topic tonight is a not deer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. The not deer might be known to hunters. There's this legend myth has been out for a long time, I guess, but it only come more known recently. Like I think they said the first more recent where it started coming out again about the whole myth and legend of it, I like year 2015. So 10, 11 years ago is when this started coming about again. But I do have a little intro to it, and then I have my research, and then I have a little outro. My story about Chippewa Isle will be done, hopefully, for Thursday night for the topic Gabriella will be discussing on Real Talk. So, shall we begin? Ooh, do we have anybody else here? Okay, we got our regulars. Awesome. They're always here for us. Okay, so let's begin.
I don't know what this is either. So.
She knows very little. Eric knows very little. I was kind of surprised in some of this stuff. I was going to do the Hat Man. I think somebody suggested that the other day. And when I researched the Hat Man, it kind of fell in lines with the night hag and gins and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of information on it. And the bottom line that I found on it matched a lot with the old hag, the night hag, that scientists are more or less coming out and saying it's derived from hallucinations from sleep paralysis. And it just goes into that whole line. And I didn't want to be redundant with the same old. So I was after them. They're like, well, what can I do? What can I do? And so I wanted to do something that I didn't think anybody might have heard about. And I come across the not deer, which they're like, it's kind of strange. So, but here we go. Deep in the Appalachian Mountains, the woods are old, older than memory. Hunters swear they've seen deer that move wrong, legs bending where they shouldn't, eyes too aware, smiles that don't belong on animals. They look familiar at first glance, but the longer you stare, the more something feels off. Locals don't call it a monster. They don't even like to name it. They just say, if you see a deer and your instincts tell you it isn't one, then it's already too late. Tonight we're talking about the knot deer, the cryptid of the Appalachia that wears a deer's skin and waits for you to notice. Is this a skinwalker or something else? Let's dive right into the story of the knot deer. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, it's considered to be a mimic or a skinwalker by some. The first sighting was in 2015 in the United States. They said it lives in the woodland areas of the Appalachias. The claims that that's an area where, like, the wooded area is highly populated. So, like, if you normally go in that wooded area and it's highly populated for regular deer, you're probably going to run into the knot deer there. They say it looks like a normal deer at first glance, but it acts very strange and has a very weird anatomy. People have a hard time describing what's wrong with the deer other than they say something is terribly off with it. People usually experience uneasiness or dread while being around the animal's presence. The legend is attributed to Appalachian folklore, though it has become more known in recent years. The legend surrounds the areas where deer are normally and commonly found, of course. An image was created to show that many try to describe, which contains the forward-facing eyes of a wolf into the deer's face. So what some people that were trying to explain what it looked like, someone actually superimposed a wolf's face over top of that of a deer, and the way the eyes face front forward, that's what it looked like on the deer's face.
Ooh.
And some of them say it has like gnarly teeth in that too. So
it doesn't sound good at all.
Usually the appearance or behavior is off, as described by those who encountered it. Some accounts are double jointed limbs, usually long and bent in the wrong direction, a barrel-like chest, forward-facing eyes or multiple eyes, malformed antlers, and cow-like heads. The forward-facing eyes are the most mentioned, which are indigenous usually to predatory animals. So that's what makes it even more odd, is because the eyes are making it like a predator, and a deer is not a predator. Their behavior is described as adult deer moving, and they move clumsily, like as if they were a newborn deer rather than an adult deer. Their aggressive or bold behavior, although they have aggressive behavior, they are known more to follow and watch you than attack you. And they are said to walk on their hind legs. They're not afraid of humans, and they may follow or approach you. They may attack you, but usually it's if you provoke them. So if you run across them, normally you're not going to be in danger unless you do something stupid and try to provoke them, and then lo and behold, you might be in danger.
That doesn't even sound like a skinwalker, though. Because skinwalker would pretend to be something, but then it would go straight after you, wouldn't wait to be provoked.
But they do list it as a skinwalker or shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter, maybe. Well, obviously. But
no, some of
skinwalker.
Yeah, I don't know. Shapeshifter I buy a little bit more than skinwalker because, like you said, because they normally don't attack, but maybe because they do get aggressive if they think they're being provoked. I don't know. There are some cases from hunters where they talk about their encounters. Now, when I got them, they actually say the name of the person, well, their channel name of the person, the year they encounter, and stuff like that. I didn't put any of that down because it's personal information. I don't want to get copyrighted or anything like that. So I just took some pieces of what their claims are. One hunter said he was overtaken by apprehension and paranoia. The hunter claimed he didn't know who he was for a while and almost felt like he became the deer himself.
That's weird.
Yeah. Another account from New York describes gray fur, long dark almond eyes that just stared at you, just gave you a very, very intense stare. Antlers were two long, jagged horns that protruded straight from their skull. And the claim was when the deer was photographed, the abnormalities do not show up on the photo. And when they went back to look for tracks and everything to try to get photos of the tracks, there were no tracks or anything in any of the snow or that around the area.
Yep, definitely a shapeshifter.
And this person here said many years later, some of their relatives, I believe they said they were cousins, went back to that same spot to try it, and they claimed they encountered pretty much the same type of deer, but they had an intense feeling of dread. Another witness claimed in 2018 that they encountered a screaming deer, and they said that they were doing huge leaps, almost like on a pogo stick, and was like screaming while they were like hopping. And they said you could see it had terror in its eyes. So they do, I don't know. So that the first encounter is like 215. This is 218. And the next one's 219. So it almost seems like over the course of years, either the story's changing for social media and
the 2018
publicity.
one screaming deer could have just been a hurt deer that like couldn't walk properly,
but it said it was hopping on its hind legs.
Yeah, it could have been hurt on its like front legs or something.
It could be
hopping and screaming because it's in pain.
Yeah, I mean, and I noticed from 2015 to the next one's going to be 2019. It does seem like people are claiming they are more aggressive, which then would kind of be indigenous to skinwalkers. But then again, we have social media and we have more publicity about cryptids going out. So it could just be all big media hoax. So I don't know.
Never know what to believe.
In 2019, there was a reported encounter in Europe. They said their eyes were lifeless and it had an uneasiness aura surrounding it. When it opened its mouth, there were multiple rows of what looked like razor-sharp teeth and an ear-shattering scream. It made an ear-shattering scream. So there was another incident in Europe, which is far from us, about the same type of incident. And then I have on here supernatural. Some people claim either it's a possessed deer or a creature mimicking a deer. Not sure if they look into the spirit, the supernatural realm, they're saying they're not sure if they would call them a spirit, a demon, a skinwalker. Some even are claiming they could possibly be an extraterrestrial.
Well, it's funny that B Squared said that because there was a video that I saw not that long ago, and it's funny that she's talking about this now, that a deer was acting really weird. This guy was driving up to it, honking the horn and everything, and it just stood there, and I thought it was fake. I was like, he's trying to run over a fake deer. Well, the thing is, the deer like moved its head slightly and it blinked at him, but it was stood still.
That's what they do in a light. And that's what they did to us.
No, because it was daytime. It was full daytime. There was no lights on. It was weird. He was just standing there. He honked the horn at it. It like kind of twitched its ear. And then it like looked over slowly at him and then moved back to its normal position. And it didn't move a single inch. He literally hit him with his bumper and everything, and he didn't move.
But that's what I had to do one day when I was going to Computer Learning Network. There's a mama and two babies. The mama was standing in the middle. This was in the morning. I didn't need lights on or anything. It was standing in the road, and I almost hit it. I come to a screeching stop. She stood there. I'm honking the horn and everything. She's looking at me like, okay, what? And then she finally took off, and her 2 babies were there. So I approached a little bit. I figured if I approached and I kind of like, not hit him, but kind of like nudged him. And the one actually ran underneath my car. And then the other one followed, and then they ran up over the hill. They were all okay. But they will stare. They kind of almost like freeze to it when they see a car approach. I don't know why that is, but they do that.
I just have never seen that happen before. And people in the comment section was like, well, it's probably a male in heat. He's just standing there waiting for.
They do. When males are in heat, they act very weird. Your dad knows a sound to make, like if they're on the road or that. He knows a sound that you can make that will make them run away. And
Dylan.
Yeah, it works every time.
What Dylan does, it's really funny, is when we driving down the road, he'll see a deer and he'll go, baby!
Well, your dad kind of goes like a, like kind of like a sound like that, and they'll take off. He does it kind of differently. Yeah.
There's another sound that Dylan makes too, and I can't think of what it is right now. But it's funny. He screams like in the highest voice possible, baby! And they run away.
Now we're getting further into like, I guess scientists' logical explanations. Some claim that chronic wasting disease is what is causing this. And they're saying another word in layman's terms, that is zombie deer syndrome. This is a dramatic weight loss and strange behavior, and the deer becomes less social and less fearful of humans. And
yeah, but I think that syndrome almost makes it seem like they have rabies or something, because they start acting zombie-like, but I think they're like foaming at the mouth.
Well, that's what I guess, because right here, they may appear listless and develop tremors and may even drool excessively and grind their teeth.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah. Again, scientists know.
But that's where they're trying to come up with the logistics about it to make something that can't be explained, or you're trying to figure out.
Scientists try too hard to figure out, or try to make it seem like they know what they're talking about, but they just don't want to upset the public.
Yeah, they kind of get, and they have to have an explanation for everything, which is okay, but sometimes, and we've said this 1,000 times, and I know I've been redundant, is unless you're there and seen it with your own eyes or witnessing it with your own eyes and ears, you really can't just go out and give a scientific or logical explanation, because some things you just can't explain. Some of the things that's happened here in our house, which I'll tell you about this little thing here in more detail, that kind of throws.
Well, I'll tell you what happened beforehand, the night before, or the night before that.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think I already told you, because I think we were on.
Yeah. I think we said it on Thursday.
I'm going to reiterate what happened that night, and then we'll go from day 2 to day 3.
Says there are many scientific claims that many different varieties of diseases could cause this. In pop culture, there's a trading card even, a trading card game that has the knot deer. It's the MetaZoo Cryptignation, that card game. You can actually get a trading card that has the knot deer on it.
There is a movie called The Knot Deer, something like Cactus!
Cactus in the house!
Cactus is real!
Many ask if a knot deer is a Wendigo or Wendigo.
Wendigo.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Wendigo. The myth is that it appears to share DNA with American folklore, and many have striking resemblance to the Wendigo.
Okay, but that also makes no sense, because a Wendigo, at least according to a lot of lore, is what happens to you if you go from a human to eating another human, so cannibalism. and then it turns you into that thing a Wendigo because of a curse.
Well, there's, they're saying Indian folklore and that too. Who knows? I mean, this is not me. This is what I'm finding.
I'm just saying. I'm saying what I know. You say what you know.
It is inspired by many shape-shifting legends. Most claims are from West Virginia. So a lot of these in the Appalachians are from West Virginia, and content creators are having a field day with the West Virginians. And no offense to any of you people that could possibly come on, I'm just telling you what my research says. Content creators are embellishing on it and making stories up and calling it the Weird Appalachia. Most accounts of encounters with the not deer report mainly weird or strange behavior and the feeling of intense dread. Those seem to be most common, and the limbs being bent in awkward positions and then being on their hind legs. They will approach you and may even follow you, but usually they will not attack, only if they are provoked.
So again, doesn't sound like a skinwalker to me.
So now the outro that I have is the Appalachian Mountains have kept their secrets for generations. Stories passed in whispers, warnings disguised as folklore. Whether the not deer is a misidentified animal, something born from fear, or something far older than that, learn how to watch his back. One thing remains the same. People will encounter it always say they felt it before they saw it. That quiet moment when the woods go still and your instincts tell you to leave. So if you find yourself alone on a dark road and a deer steps into your headlights but doesn't move like it should, don't stare, don't follow, and whatever you do, trust that feeling, because some things in these mountains were never meant to be understood, only avoided. Dun, dun, dun. That's it. That's it. I mean, I got a lot, but not still as much as that I would like on these type of stories that we do. But I thought it'd be different. Gabrielle and I watched a picture the other day called the Drop Bear. Don't watch it. Don't. It's kind of like, I have to say it's better than Terrifier 3 in the fact that it doesn't go to nauseating perversion. But I watched it because it looks stupid, but I watched them. Some movies are so stupid that you actually laugh at them. They're funny.
Yeah, so the other day we had 3 movies to pick from because we were all here and we were like, you know what, we could go for a good movie right now. So we had 3 movies to pick from. Me and Mom chose Drop Bear, and Eric and Abby, I guess, chose The Reaper.
Yeah, I think that's.
I don't remember what the other one was.
It's something about snake. The big one big snake. I think it was called.
One Big Snake, and nobody chose that one. So we watched The Reaper the other day. And then Abby was over at her apartment and was playing games and everything. And so Mom was like, you know what?
What the heck?
I want to put it on. Yeah. I was like, yay, we get to watch it. We put it on, and immediately it's like, okay, this is weird, but it might be a good weird. Later on, in the movie, they literally use like a stuffed animal koala bear, and the costume that the giant koala bear was, he was like, it was a freaking like Party City outfit. And they didn't make it look realistic at all.
It looks like somebody filmed it in their backyard, like maybe a high school kids or something like. I mean, I have to say it that way because The acting was horrible. The costumes. I mean, how if they even would have went with CG or used real animals and then use CG over them or something like it was just
It was awful. And the one part that had us all like laughing and crying and everything was the giant koala bear man thing was going after a guy because he did not like the disease chlamydia, which is funny because in real life, koalas carry chlamydia. He did not want that, so he was going after the guy who had it from his girlfriend cheating on him, by the way. And he was another part of it too because he kept on scratching his junk the whole time throughout the entire freaking movie. Why they needed to put that in there, I don't know. Whatever. That's not here nor there. Anyways, the part that was the funniest was when they were trying to kill this giant koala bear. The guy, he freaking had a chainsaw. He was stabbing it, and you would think that it would go through him. There's nothing. There was no blood. There was nothing on him. And then somehow, the one girl, she gets the exact same chainsaw, puts it up in the air, and he jumps on it, and then she freaking, like, goes through him with the chainsaw. So,
and he comes down over top of her.
Like, and he's just, like, floating in the air, by the way. He's, like, he jumped, but it should have went. No, he's like floating on top of this freaking chainsaw while she's holding it.
It was like I said, we watched it because we didn't expect it to be good, but we just thought, well, you know what, it might be funny because like I said, My Boyfriend's Back, freaking stupid movie, but it was funny. If you like that type, I mean, we got some laughs out of it. This one there, I'm watching it the whole time, and I'm there like.
We were all just like, what is happening?
Yeah, like, what is going on in this movie? Like, I've seen a lot of bad movies lately, and like I said, Terrifier movies, especially 3, was up there.
It had a storyline. Like, its storyline, there was a lore to it, which was the koala bear got tested on in a lab, and they injected him with something which made him a mutant. And he was able to talk like a human, and he was ginormous, and he got abandoned after a while, and all the other koalas in the area he took in as his little family, and they were all evil because they were also experimented on, but it didn't work on them.
Yeah, they got very aggressive from the experiment.
So that's lore.
And they were supposed to, the lore was that they would hang out in trees, which koalas love their trees. They would hang out in trees, and when visitors to Australia would come, they would jump on top of them and just pretty much rip them apart.
Yep.
So it just, I mean, I'm watching that movie, and I'm trying to find funny parts, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm there like, just shaking my head, and I'm like, what am I watching? Like, what did we put on?
And the voice that they gave the giant koala bear was horrible. I would have thought that he would, everybody in there except for the tourists obviously were Australian. He didn't have an Australian accent, and he had the deepest voice ever. At some parts you don't even know what the fuck he said.
And it's weird because we did make a comment when we were watching it. Normally, if you watch horror movies, they always have very well-built women in there. And, I mean, always with big jugs, of course. This movie, the women were busty, but they were thicker built. Not fat, but they were thicker built. They were not like real thin and curvaceous like you see in most horror movies. So they're like, hey, this is good. They picked normal people for once from these movies. They didn't have to go after models or, girls with perfect figures and stuff like that. They actually got what most people look like.
Yeah,
And or it didn't go anywhere. It did not go anywhere. So, but we're trying to recover from that. Now, let's get on to what led up to this. And Linda, I got to pick on you for the comment you made saying you were putting your blender, I believe you said, back up on top of your refrigerator and you thought of me. Linda. I laughed when I read that. I'm there like, my crazy Linda, my crazy Linda.
Okay, so we'll get into that. So what happened like 2 nights before, because I think it was 2 nights, or maybe it was 3.
I think it was 3.
3 nights before, right before we went on here to go live, I was making a cup of coffee, and behind the refrigerator, I heard like a scratching noise. I thought that there was an animal in the wall, so I started like banging on the wall. I started tapping on the wall to see if I could hear anything scurry away to find out if it was an animal or not. I didn't hear anything after that, so I was like, okay, just gonna move on with my night, but that was freaky and creepy. Your turn.
That's the night I heard the growl, right?
Yep.
When she left to go home that night, I said, make sure you lock the door, which I know she's good for it. She always locks the door, but I always double check. So I go and I just lock the door and I just start turning and I hear like a growl / moan. And I'm there like, whoa, I've never heard that before. So I needed to go pee before I went to bed too. So I went into the bathroom, which I'm kind of like looking all around like this and that, and kind of already razzled a little bit. And I come out, I'm walking away, and I kept on looking back because I'm there like, don't do that again. And please don't be staring at me. But it felt like eyes on me. So I'm walking away and they're like very uneasy. And I tell them about it the next day. Then the accident prone stuff started. So me, I'm stubborn. I should ask people for help because I'm not young. And
she doesn't ever.
Our one carpet was sliding and kind of coming up along the edge. It's just a big throw rug, but it was sliding and it was kind of coming up by the edge of the step. And so I wanted to pull it back out so it wasn't curving, so it wouldn't start bending and permanently stay that way. So I've been mentioning that, okay, I'm going to need help lifting up the couch so I can shimmy the carpet back up, put it back down. I have no patience. I'm stubborn. So nobody was here. And I yank the carpet away and put it in the position I want. I straighten it all out and I lift the couch up and I tuck it under. Well, when I got up, I could feel my back wrench a little bit. Thank God it wasn't bad. It did go. I went up and lay down a little bit and it did subside. So that was number 2. Then the whole thing with the crock pot. It's kind of weird because this was the other, which my stubborn. I woke up in the morning and our chest freezer was partially plugged in and partially pulled out because it needed an adapter for the plug. And I had pulled something out behind the freezer the other day that Tom had thrown, and I must have bumped it where it's partially in, partially out. Well, I went into the freezer to get something. I noticed some of the stuff was starting to thaw out. Not all the way, but just starting to. Some of them starting to get a little soft. So I'm like, oh shit. So I replugged it back in and I told Tom, I said, we're going to move the chest freezer by the refrigerator and the shelf that I got by the refrigerator, we're going to move where the chest freezer is. He says, okay. He says, I'll help you do that. And again, nobody was around. I decided to do it by myself. Tom comes down and he goes, you just don't have any patience, do you? And they're like, no. So he started helping me. So we got all that done. But I'm starting to replace my crock pot. I always put, now it's one of those 8-quart ones, so it's big. And I always put it in the same spot on the top shelf that I always put it on with the lid on. I must have done this a dozen or more times. I'm probably more. Never had an incident. Move it into that hallway where I now move that stand where we hear and see all of these things. And I'm picking it up the same way, putting it. Next thing you know, the lid comes flying off of the crock pot and it cracks me, which is weird because if you see the bruising is right here, but it cracked me right here because it left an indentation right here. And if it would have hit just a little bit harder, it would have split it open. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm crying. I'm in pain. Tom comes running. He said, oh my God, honey. Oh my God, honey. He said, let me check. And it wasn't split, but he hurries up and goes and gets ice. And he gives me ice to put on. He says, you go in the room right now and you sit down. I'm going to get the rest of this taken care of. So he gave me ice. I was putting ice on. I think maybe that's why, which you can see it obviously, where it didn't get real swollen. Why does it look like my nose is crooked on here, though?
It's only because the bruise is on that side and there's nothing on that side.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And it is swollen right here.
Because I was looking at that too. I was like,
yeah, why does it look
like broken or something? But
and so I go in and sit down and I'm in pain and I'm there like, oh my God. And I'm there like, okay, I'm going to have a bruise on my nose. I'm going to have 2 black eyes. I'm going to have an indentation right there for a couple of days. So that was number 2. Then yesterday, I go into that same place again because we had 2 cases of soda there. And I go in and with one case, well, neither one of them was even open yet. So I'm like, I'm going to open, I'm thirsty for a soda. So I opened up the top to grab a can of soda and I feel rip and the cardboard on the case cut down into my finger and there's blood like crazy and it's a pretty deep slice, cardboard slice. And they're like, okay, this is day number 3. What's going to happen next?
I told her that I don't know if it's the same with you guys or if this is not going to make any sense, which most of the things I say don't make any sense. But I told Mom that when I get hurt once or twice, then I have that mindset of, great, what's going to happen today? How am I going to hurt myself today? I already have that up.
Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't even pay attention over there. I was reading over there.
It's blue.
I know. I didn't pay attention to that.
Anyways, so I told Mom, I was like, I don't know about if it happens to you, but this is how it usually happens for me. I get hurt 1 or 2 days in a row, and immediately on the 3rd day, I'm like, great, what's going to happen to me today? Am I going to fall? Am I going to trip? Am I going to die? Am I going to cut myself? Like, what's going to happen? And then something usually happens. If I don't have that mindset and I have like a clear mind and I'm in a good mood, nothing happens. Although, on my way over here today, I stepped on a thorn and pricked my big toe.
And yesterday or the day before, Chase fell down their steps. So it's kind of like...
It's contagious, I guess.
Linda's question, did the dogs notice anything? They get weird. Like,
they usually stare at things in this room from the living room because they're usually in the living room when they're out of the cage, like the whole day, and they will stare at things either on the ceiling over here or on the table or somewhere in this vicinity.
Yeah, and they'll stare. Sometimes they'll bark, but it's where they stare at, ironically, is the area usually where I see I'm going to call it a mimic, because usually I'll kind of glance over and I'm thinking Gabriella's standing there and I'm ready to say, well, hey, Gabriella, how you doing today? And I'll look again and she's not there. But it's weird because only for usually when I see her, usually it's not that long afterwards she actually does show up. So it's kind of like,
it's creepy.
Yeah.
And she already knows what she'll describe what I was wearing before I even came over. And then it would be the exact same outfit that I'm having on before I come over. So
yeah, it's weird. And then Tom said when he comes down a lot of times in the morning to make his coffee, and he says he'll have a shadow follow behind him and block out like the whole light from behind him. So there's something here we don't know.
Big question, are you feeling accident prone or cursed?
Well, that's what was leading to the crock pot thing. I'm not saying cursed, and I'm not saying accident prone, because the thing with the couch, it wasn't really an accident. I brought it on myself for not waiting for any help. The finger cut, yeah, I that was purely an accident. So, but the crock pot, I've done, like, I'm short, mind you, but the shelf didn't get any bigger just because I moved it to a new location. And I've done that same thing, moving it up and putting it in the same thing like countless times.
It would have gotten lower because that drop off.
Yeah, but it's still the same height, because it's lower, but I'm still standing. It's not changing the height at all. It would have gotten lower if I would have been on the ledge, but I'm still. But so it doesn't make any sense, because I'm still putting in the same spot that I've done countless times. But it's almost too like it's not like the lid just came and fell. It came off with force, and I think that's what kind of made me like. And guys, I don't want to say paranormal, but it's too much of a coincidence that the whole time it was in the kitchen in the spot, I've done nothing ever happened. Then ironically, I move it to where we're having these.
Yeah, and just ironically, it was in the same spot that I heard the scratching and she heard the growl.
It just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not claiming it was paranormal or anything, but even Eric said, "Mom, that's just too much of a coincidence." So I don't know.
Is the fridge open?
Is the fridge open for Gabriella? The fridge.
Did the king ever climb that high? No.
No.
He would go in the smaller spaces.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little cabinet thing right beside the stove. He'd go in those little cubby holes. I think the highest that he would jump is the windowsill.
Yeah. Or on the table.
Well, the table is higher than the windowsill, so yeah.
Yeah.
So the table.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have these cabinets, and he didn't even try to jump on them or anything.
Sometimes the kitchen
counter. Yeah, sometimes. But that was very rare.
It was usually if you had food.
Yeah, that was very, very rare.
So,
but like, it's just like, we have to. Now when I come down in the morning, I'll come down in the morning. Of course, first thing you do in the morning is you go to the bathroom. I have the same every morning. I'll come down, I'll hit the bathroom, I'll go over to our side door and unlock it so that she has access to come over without having to search for a key or anything.
Because Dylan lost the key.
Oh, he lost it?
He lost it. I have no clue where it's at. We haven't found it. The other day, he's like, "Oh, you had a blonde moment." Anyways, what happened was I was heading over here. I had just woke up, and I was heading over here to tell you something or to get something or whatever. Oh, it was the day I made my coffee.
I thought it was to return the car keys.
It was. So it was the day that I made my coffee to return the car keys. He handed me the car keys. I was like, "Oh, you found them. Or you found it." He looked at me like, "What?" I was like, I've been looking for them. And he's so confused. And I was like, "The key to the door, you found it." And again, I just woken up. So he's like, he's not understanding what I'm saying. So I'm like, "You found the key?" And he's like, "No." And then he handed me the entire, like, actual key ring and everything, and I was like, oh. And so I brought
well,
it over.
That gets back to, like I said, well, I come down, like I said, I go to the bathroom, and then I go straight to that door and unlock it, and then I go in, I make my cup of coffee and go in the living room, sit down, play on my phone a little bit, try to think of what I want for our shows and everything. And I pretty much do the same routine every day. And Dylan had borrowed our car the night before, and she had kept on trying to call and everything to find out, like, well, hey, why is the door locked? And I looked at Eric and I said, Eric, because Eric was taking the dogs out when he come back in, and I said, Eric, I unlocked that door, and he knows because I do the same thing every morning. Well, he unlocked the door for her. She comes in, and I told her something. I said, that door, I unlock it every morning, but that door will lock or unlock on its own. We have sliding doors that go from, we're sitting in our dining room, those little doors behind where these lights are over here, and those have those, like almost those Western bar type doors that go like this. We have those there. That goes into our kitchen. And then if you go in the right from our kitchen is where that hallway is in our bathroom. But if you go straight through our kitchen, we have sliding doors, and that takes down to what I'm going to make into my art/craft room. Sometimes we can hear, I just thought I saw something moving back there. Sometimes we'll hear the sliding door move. Hi, how are you? And we'll go and check, and it will be open slightly. And we can know too, because we can feel like a real cold breeze because there's no heat down in that room. When I start using it for my podcast/art room and that, I have like a fireplace down there and it's an electric one that we can use so that we have heat, especially in winter months. But doors will unlock. Our bedroom door upstairs will lock or unlock. And let's rewind to when we first moved here. We're going to be here 3 years in June. The very first year we moved here, Eric is pretty much of an OCD for fixing up his bed in particular. He gets up, he always straightens out his bed and everything. Well, he had one of those blankets on the bed that was kind of, it was a light blanket, but you just needed to press lightly on it. It would leave your handprint.
It's one of those like fur blankets that change colors when you could draw a design on it if you wanted to, because it changes like from a very light color to a darker color.
And it will easily leave a handprint. Well, he fixed his bed up, he straightened it all up, and he comes down and he goes up and he says, he comes down like later on because he had to go back up there for something. He says, Mom, you got to see this. And he says, I was just up there and this was not there. And I'm there, what? He said, I can't even describe this. You have to see this. So we went up and there was this handprint, one handprint on his bed, but it was like not like your hand looks like this. The handprint that was down on the bed, the thumb, was kind of like out kind of like that and real far away, almost like an ape, like, you know how like a chimpanzees, they have their regular, but their thumb kind of comes out like to that different angle. That's what it was. And it was big. It was real big. And I'm there like, what the? And he says, I said, Eric, you sure you didn't put your hand on there somehow? And it just kind of, and he says, Mom, I was just up there. There was nothing there. And I went back up and this was there. And it, like I said, again, it was only that one print where they're like, okay. And then later on after that, we were getting more equipment for investigating. And I bought me and Chase a couple new EVP recorders. And the one that I bought me and Chase, which I don't even use mine, but Chase uses this a lot. It's the kind that you use. It's just a recorder that you use for college, like when the professor's speaking and you want to record what he's saying so that you can play it back, or if you're not there and you want somebody to catch for you. But anyhow, he was so excited to get it. He says, I'm going to try this out. So he takes it in our bathroom, which is right in that hallway, and he puts it on the sink in the bathroom, keeps it in there for a couple of minutes, comes out and plays it. And he says, what's your name? And he got a very clear Thomas on it. Very, very, very clear Thomas.
So from that day on, every time we go like over in that area in the bathroom, everything will be like, "Hi Thomas, how you doing, Thomas?" You know, just talking to him. But I don't know, it's different lately, and we don't know why, because we didn't do anything different.
Mm-mm.
We didn't bring anything into the house.
Now,
I didn't collect any rocks.
Well, but we got all this stuff that was got from different places. I don't know. I mean,
but why would it start all over?
But you know what? And I have a philosophy now, and it just dawned on me. And Eric said something too earlier, I believe. Cactus says, will you be putting a camera audio device in the kitchen? We have Ring cameras, and I have one that I put out there, and I got freaked out the other day, which I'll get into that. Oh my God, it was so stupid. I'm reviewing it, and Tom has this rack in our kitchen where he has all of his caps, his ball caps, all lined up. Where I have the Ring camera, it shows through the sliding double doors, the glass doors, and when you look through, you can see to the right in the art room is a big mirror that Tom does not like, that he calls haunted. Well, I'm reviewing the video the other night to see if anything showed up on it, because we do hear things out in there and see things. And I see what looks like over top of the mirror, like this big, it almost looked like this, like jointed fingers over top of that mirror. And I'm there like, is that? And I'm looking and I'm there like, okay, Diane, there has to be a logical explanation. And I'm looking and I'm zooming it, and I'm there, oh, Diane, you are one stupid mother. And what it was is the way the Ring camera caught Tom's hats, and it reflected through those double sliding glass doors onto the mirror. The ridges of the hats and the little button that's on top of the hat kind of made it look like finger joints, and that, like, because it looked like a big huge hand. It made it look like a big huge hand hanging over top of that mirror. And I'm there like, that perfectly, it's a perfect case to show people that jump to conclusions that everything they see is paranormal. Right there was, I could have told everybody, look at this. And clear enough, right there it was the hats, able to debunk it, and pareidolia created by the reflection of the hats through that.
It just started this month.
Oh, no.
The creepy shit just started this month. But we've had activity in here since we moved in. Like Mom said, the handprint on Eric's bed. We've heard noises. We've seen that mimic or whatever walk back and forth. We've seen the lady in the white dress walk back and forth.
We've seen Pee-wee several times.
We've heard each other call each other, and there would be nobody there. We have seen Pee-wee a few times.
Here's my theory, because it did get, we just had Christmas. When Gabriella and Dylan moved into what used to be the beauty shop and made that into their apartment, all the stuff that we had in there was brought in to our hallway. Now, this was stuff that we had from the house in South Carolina that was jam-packed with paranormal activity. We had it sitting in that hallway, and before Christmas, I was going through box, through container, and that, trying to weed out stuff that I want to put in a yard sale, because I might have an online shop and sell some stuff in that way, just get rid of some stuff. But I was going through all this stuff and then digging out all my Christmas stuff for Christmas. Well, Eric says, Mom, do you think, since we had all that stuff down South Carolina, do you think maybe there's something that you were unpacking that something from South Carolina, and now you did say that, come to think of it, could have attached to something? That is a possibility, because it was not doing anything, but as soon as I started opening up
all of those boxes that she opened
is in that hallway.
Is in that hallway. Yeah. So that's why I was asking.
And what was the most recent thing that I pulled out when the growling and that started? Do you remember? That little movie projector thing.
Oh my God, you're right.
And I got that down South Carolina. I'll show you guys what that is.
We need to get like an EMF reader and put up to that or something, because imagine if that was the cause to all of this.
I know. It would not be.
And it's ironically a fucking music box. Creepy ass music boxes.
Well, there's a story behind it. Tom had a viewing room, like a home theater set up in our other house. And he had the surround sound and everything. And we're thinking, what can we get? What? Well, I couldn't send it to North Carolina. We live in South Carolina.
B Squared said, doesn't activity ramp us, she meant up, when emotions are high? 2025 is a stressful year for you.
Yeah, I never thought of that too. But when he had his home theater, we're like, what can we find to decorate it? And plus, I like little trinkets and that anyhow. So I come across this. It's an old, like, movie projector, and it's a music box. And it has a little door right there with the mirror in it. 2 little shelves. And
is it Laura?
And it's just, so
keep an eye out there,
I just pulled this out recently, and now that I just thought about it, that about the time that I pulled that out and wiped it off and put it in our living room.
Why does it feel like there's a cold breeze in here now? Do you feel it?
We should really put the EVP.
Like, I'm not even kidding. I wish I was, but I'm not. I literally feel like
I don't feel anything by me, but
I'm cold now.
But you're freezing! Holy shit!
So cold now.
You're freezing! See, I'm not, though. Feel me. Like, I got a little bit of coolness on me, but you're froze. Holy punso, Batman. Isn't that the coolest music box ever, Cactus? I love it. I spotted it. I can't not remember where I got it.
Probably an auction.
Probably, and I know I didn't really pay that much for it. And I just fell in love with them. They're like, we have a home theater. What better thing to have in a home theater is a little fake movie projector. And I just loved it. But I just pulled that out recently, and I'm wondering now, is there something to that?
I'm freaking freezing now, though.
Did that door open? I don't know. Because I thought I saw something back there before, but
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah. But and getting back to that hallway too, right after I heard the growl, like I think it was 2 nights ago, Gabrielle and I were talking. Matter of fact, it was, I think, when I got my nose cracked. Oh, that feels weird. And so we were talking in that hallway, and I go over there, and they're like, listen, whoever you are, don't be trying to scare me. Don't be throwing stuff at me. This is our house. If you lived here, this is no longer your house. It's ours. Stop doing what you're doing, because I'm not going to put up with it. And I walked away, and didn't you say you thought you heard like a a sigh or a whisper or something.
I think
like
it was a whisper.
And
I can't
so
remember. There's been a lot going on recently.
And it literally is starting to freak your dad out, because your dad, Tom, was the biggest skeptic. Like, when we first started telling him we were seeing things down at that house in South Carolina, he didn't want to hear it. He says, "Come on, don't I'm not in the mood. I'm not." Well, then he started seeing that door unlock and open and close on its own. Now, the funny thing about that particular door, when we bought that house down there, that particular door had those old skeleton keys to it. They had it locked up. Now, when we got it unlocked, they had tape in.
I have those skeleton keys.
Yeah, and there was tape there, so it was like they wanted to keep the tape and keep it locked for a reason, and we think it was probably unlocking and opening and closing before. But Tom started witnessing that a lot on his own, and then he saw the thing with the orbs. He saw our EVP, some of the things we caught on our EVP sessions. He saw our interactions with that globe that I had that we used before we got our equipment. Like,
I have the skeleton keys.
And those skeleton keys were attached to that house, so that could be another.
But I didn't have like any activity in my room.
I didn't ever,
until I was out of my room, and then we heard walking up there all the time when Pee-wee and Badger were up there.
We hear like every now and then we're that extra room up there right now. Now the stuff that we were taking out of that hallway, we are taking it up to that room because that's going to be like a storage room. I was going to have an extra bedroom, but we usually don't have anybody staying over that. So it's going to be like for all my Christmas stuff and all the stuff from that hallway and the stuff that we clear out of the art room. And then I'll be going through all this stuff and making certain boxes to sell or to give to Goodwill or United Way or whatever, St. Vincent de Paul's, whatever. That church, just I'll be giving all that stuff away and that. But that's just our storage room now. But we will be sitting here at times watching TV, and you can hear almost like you would think a cat, because the cats would be up there. But it's not cat footsteps. They're heavy, like human footsteps walking across up in that bedroom up there. So I don't know. We got weird shit happening in this house, guys.
It's nothing to be afraid of. Maybe, well, kind of. I mean, the mimic is weird, and usually mimics aren't good, but
it does look crooked, though, don't it? I mean, I know she said, but why did it look?
It's not. Turn that way, or turn this way. See, it's fine. It's just when you.
I hope it's.
Mom, it's just the way that it is. Watch, I'm gonna put some light on it. This might blind you a little bit. Oh god, that's way too bright.
Yeah, that's.
That didn't work. See, it's not crooked.
No, I guess I don't know.
The bruises.
It looks like it did go in my eye a little bit, because I have makeup on and it's still pretty.
It looks like it might.
Mainly this one here.
Here a little bit too.
Well, that's why I've been getting my headaches. I've been getting like
a little bit of bruising up there.
Right in here is where it hit me, because they even left an indentation. But I've been getting like headaches right in this area, right here. So I don't know.
Well, you should see that cactus.
I am working on that story for Thursday night. Like I said, when I read the story, there's going to be a twist to it, and we hope you enjoy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, I think that's part of the reason why I haven't been able to sleep the last couple of nights, is because I have all these thoughts going through my head of how I want this story to come out. I do still have to read the rest of that AI story, the part 4, 5, and 6. I might just start reread the whole thing all over again, just so so that because you might have forgot what it was like. Yeah, Eric, I read to him today what I have already written. And what I've already written, we haven't even gotten to the island yet. We're just preparing to go to the island. So, but like I said, I have all these thoughts going through my head. And if you guys want whatever topic Gabriella chooses, with the exception of the one this Thursday, whatever cryptid or that, if you want me to write a lurking spirits adventure to go along with it, just let me know, because I have a notebook and I can start a whole collection of those stories. We got our notebooks. We got them there. Mm-hmm. So, anything you got to say about not deers or drop bears or cryptids?
I don't think that not deers are. You felt that too?
Yes.
That shook the entire ground.
That shook everything here.
That was
I'm
weird.
surprised. I mean, really.
I wonder if it shook the camera, because they're.
I mean, I know the dogs are over there, but that was not. That was
unless they scratched in the cage.
Yeah, but I don't think, because it shook the chairs and everything. That was like a very
it's like a mini earthquake.
That's what it felt like. And we both reacted. We both looked at each other at the same time. That was real weird. So what was you saying? Do you remember?
I was trying to say that I don't think that the not deer is a skinwalker, but it might be a shapeshifter.
I go toward shapeshifter too.
Because, like I said, skinwalkers, they wouldn't wait. I feel cold again.
I do feel a cold right here now. Not behind me or anything, but like right here, I feel like a little.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was just, that was like, I don't know, because it wasn't just, it was the floor, and it was like everything shook.
Like, shook everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if this shook or not. Did the camera shake when whatever the fuck just happened?
No trucks or anything going by. Not only that, but when a truck goes by, it doesn't even shake our house.
We don't have earthquakes here either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the difference between a skinwalker and shapeshifter? Thought was one and the same. So yes, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. A skinwalker will attack you and kind of lure you to it, and doesn't need to be provoked or anything for it to attack. A shapeshifter will need you to provoke it to go after it, and it usually just turns into different, like, animals. Skinwalkers turn into animals, humans.
Well, I guess you could say, like, that old riddle kind of thing that they had, or that test that they have in some schools. A skinwalker is a shapeshifter, but a shapeshifter doesn't necessarily need to be a skinwalker.
I was trying to make it less confusing, Mom.
I thought that was less confusing. No?
You're saying that a shapeshifter is, a skinwalker is a shapeshifter, but a shapeshifter is not a skinwalker.
Not necessarily. It can be, but not necessarily.
That's confusing.
I don't think it was. Was that confusing, guys?
Anyways, a skinwalker does not need to be provoked. It lures you. It makes crazy sounds like someone's in danger to lure you to it, so it can attack. A shapeshifter will not attack you unless you provoke it, and it usually turns into like a hurt animal or some sort of animal.
So in essence, that really does sound like a shapeshifter more than a skinwalker.
Yeah. Now, a skinwalker will turn into anything it finds. It will turn into animal or a human.
Yeah.
Especially if it just found a human and it thinks that more people are nearby, it'll be like, help me.
Right. Now, I was reading something else too today that caught my eye. We've done our little thing on Bigfoot. And I said Bigfoot are, they're saying that they're getting more comfortable around humans. There's a couple credible videos that some people have come out with recently that is.
I saw
there's some videos that kind of they're checking out that looks pretty credible. But the one thing that caught my eye today is they're now turning the Bigfoot legend, myth, whatever, into another Area 51 government cover-up. They're saying now people are coming out and saying they think that the government has known about Bigfoot, has Bigfoot in captivity, and are experimenting with them and whatnot, and just has not released it to the public. No, it wasn't a quake. It was just because.
Well, it said Eric said he didn't feel anything either, so
yeah,
it wasn't a quake.
It was just.
I want to rewatch this and see if
it was contained like in this area, so it kind of felt like underneath us, but you could feel the chairs.
It almost felt like something grabbed the chairs and like
shook.
Bounced or something.
Yeah,
because it shook the ground like someone
bounced right under us, right through like this area. It almost even seemed like, because it went like right through this area. I'm not even sure if the table shook. That's why we was wondering if the camera did shake a little bit.
Yeah, because if the table shook, it would have.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
it would have moved.
Yeah, a little bit. You can see. So
that did shake the chair a little bit.
So,
I don't know.
But you saw our reaction. Like
we were like, what? What did you feel that?
What did we just experience?
Was that just me? Are we having a Freaky Friday moment? We're gonna switch bodies soon.
Oh my gosh! So,
this is a Freaky Friday moment. We're gonna switch bodies soon.
Like you have to wonder, like for us. I'm not uneasy with anything that happens in the house, except what has happened out in that hallway recently. The growling, I'm going to be honest with you, was unnerving. And the whole crock pot thing, considering that I've done that so many times and all of a sudden it decides with force, if it would just been a tad bit harder, right here, there might even still be an indentation there. I'm not sure. Is there still an indentation right in here?
Well, it almost left like a little bit of a scar there.
So if it would have been just a little bit harder, it would have split my nose open, and I would have had to go to the hospital. But it's weird because it was right up here, but the bruising is right here.
And it's like, yeah, that's weird.
So I don't know, but
I told her unless like the blunt side got right there and then the corner of it got, or it's there's not a corner of a freaking circle, so the little lip
oval,
the edge of it got that part, but where the indent is where the.
Or sometimes when you get a blunt force in a particular area, the area that you actually get to hit on doesn't bruise, but the area around it does first, because the area where the hit was is internal. And then in a few days, the internal bruise comes external and matches the rest, unless it's something like that. I don't know. But, I mean, I can at least touch it now today. But my nose was swollen like that yesterday. I kept on calling myself Rocky Dennis, saying I had that lion face syndrome or whatever. It is kind of
squishy.
It's squishy. I mean, there's cartilage there, but yeah, like right, yeah, it feels weird. It's just weird. Yeah, there is no truck going by, and even when we have coal trucks, there's a plant right next to us, and there's coal trucks going back and forth, and even when they go back and forth or we're sitting in our living room that's right by the road, you don't hear any vibrations whatsoever, not even in the living room. So, and it was only contained. It was just like
was just this
like like it went right underneath us, like right underneath our chairs, and it like shook the chairs. Like it's, my mind is boggled.
It's cold again.
Your hands are froze. That's weird.
Look, I have goosebumps. Yep. It's cold again. What? Stop it!
I don't know, but Gabriella, did you put on your page on Real Talk what the subject is going to be on Thursday?
Not yet. I don't usually do that until the day of. That way I know that they get the notification.
But it is what Cactus gave you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Cactus, you probably will know. I guess you sent Gabriella an idea, and she's going to use that one for Thursday. It will be that, and we'll also put on their story time. So I have 2 days yet. My story should be ready for that. And hopefully this will be gone by Thursday, or a lot better. Hopefully not a lot worse. Like if my theory,
I don't think it's going to get any worse than what
I think me getting the ice on it as quick as what it was put on helped. But like I said, my theory is since it hit right here, is that the bruising is internal and it might eventually come out, because sometimes that takes 3 days or so before it actually comes out. But I don't think so. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we've only had one earthquake, I believe, in Pennsylvania, and it was a while ago. Me and Tom was in our Galleria Mall when it happened, and then they're, hey, everybody, there's an earthquake. And the only thing anybody felt from it, they didn't even feel tremors or anything like that. It was like one that was like in New York or something like that happened, and we only had the aftermath of it. And it was so mild. The only thing anybody explained, Tom said he felt it, but I didn't, was like a little bit of dizziness, like vertigo or something, like just a little bit of, but no like shaky or anything like you would think with a quake, just that dizziness type, or
probably just send like a shockwave.
Yeah, like that's that's what most people said that they felt too, was that kind of like a little bit of slight dizziness and that. So,
and of course, Cactus.
But
any subject anybody wants us to talk about, let us know.
No, the lid didn't break, Linda. It was, like I said, that's an 8-quart crock pot, and it's an oval one. It's not a round one, it's oval. And the lid was oval shaped, and it was like not this part of the lid, but the rounded edge part over on this side come flying down, because it come down at an angle. And the first thing I noticed when I looked in the mirror when I got hit was I had right up here, pretty close to where my eye is, right up in this area here, you could see the indentation where it actually hit my nose. And then, it hit me hard enough, it knocked me down onto the floor. Because that's when Tom came, he says, "Oh my God, honey, are you all right? Are you all right?" And he looked, he said, let me check, because I'm holding my face and I'm crying. And he looked, and
I didn't know about this until a day later, when I checked Facebook and saw that she had a post instead of her being.
If I would have wanted to go to the hospital, you would have known immediately. I didn't end up in the hospital. Your dad took care of me. So
that's good. But it would have been nice to know when it happened so I could make sure.
You guys freak out a lot, so I don't really, a lot of shit I don't tell you. Like when I hurt my back the other day, I didn't tell anybody until way later. If you guys have any ideas of anything odd, even like the not deer, anything, just send them to one of us. We will do research on it. I can do a little story. I do some AI stories.
Any conspiracy theories that you got? We'll let you know our opinions on it.
I can do the AI stories if you guys like those. If you want me not to do the AI ones, I can just do simply what I make up. That's up to you guys, since you're our audience. Just let us know. And again, I know Cactus and I think B Squared tuned in just a little bit late, not like pretty close to the beginning, but just like I know Linda and Eric was like the very first ones. If you didn't hear, we don't do the fancy intros, we don't do the fancy videos and stuff like that. We're raw, we're pure, we're us. So, and we're going to stay that way because we really, really like this atmosphere here that like we're talking to you as if you were sitting right across from us in our living room or dining room. And that's the way we're going to keep it because that it keeps it real and pure and open and honest. And that's how we like it.
Even though you can't feel the things that we feel.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Yeah. If you were sitting here with us, you would have felt it too. That was still weird though. Because it's just like it went like
no, it was
like that, like right like in a path.
A wave of energy.
Yeah. Something. It was almost like if you could say horse or something and it decided to run from there and just go right along the path, right from that chair to my chair to your chair and over. Because when I felt it, you felt it, and we looked at each other like.
And it couldn't have been like something small like Pee-wee.
It made the floor vibrate.
It made the floor vibrate, and it made our chairs
vibrate.
Yeah.
Because I almost felt like I was sitting on one of those vibrating chairs. Because that's how
what intense at first. I was like.
Yeah, that was weird. So, I mean, I'm sure there might be an logical explanation. I don't know, but we don't.
The only thing I could think of is since the dog cage is right there, that one of them got up and scratched, and somehow it sent a vibration over to the floor and shook the chairs too. That's the only thing.
That tense and only in this area, wasn't the whole table or the.
I don't know.
Because they're like over there. Yeah, they're sleepy buying times. They're sleeping right now. That's why you don't hear them, because they usually go to bed about 8:30, and they sleep all night.
A weird combo of events makes you wonder if it's just more than coincidence.
See, that's what we're throwing. Like, we're not one to say, hey, yeah, we're experiencing paranormal. We're not going to come out there and say that, even though I know somebody that every time they see something, they're there. It's paranormal. Look, I got the evidence. I got all these views from it. Look, I got.
We'll do an egg cleanse and see if we are cursed or hexed or something. You know what an egg cleanse?
See, they just moved.
Yeah, but I mean scratching. If they when one of them scratched over there.
I don't think it would have made just only in this contained area. That would have been too weird. But yeah.
You know what an egg cleanse is?
No.
You get an egg, a raw egg. You rub it over every single part of your body. It's an old, witch thing.
No. No. I'd rather just do an old-fashioned saging.
It makes you find out if you're hexed or not. There's a certain thing that happens with the egg in the water to tell you if you're hexed.
No.
I'm doing it.
You can do it. You can do it.
You need to do it, because we need to find out if you're hexed or not.
It's probably this thing. I still love that. Isn't that freaking nice?
It's so cute. Let's watch me kill it.
I love it.
Let's watch it kill me.
Okay, guys.
Music box.
We're at another show here where we hit the hour and a half because you guys are awesome and you like listening to us and we like talking.
For some reason.
So, if again, any ideas, shoot them to us. We will work on it. Gabriella already has. I'll have her sometime tomorrow post what it is. And Thursday night, sharp at 9, it'll be her topic and story time. So, with that being said, we will catch you next time on Thursday night at 9 on Real Talk. So, stay tuned.
Wait, hold on. She said something. You're on it. Get off of it. Okay, well. The format of your show feels friends hanging out and chatting. Have good topics.
Thank you, Cactus. And that's what we want. That's how we want to keep it. And we're not going to change it. We could put these fancy intros and fancy outros and all this technology, you know, videos and that in the background. We don't need it. We just want to keep it just as raw and pure and one-on-one like this format here. So, but hey, good night, all of you guys.
We will try to have a better camera though by Thursday.
Well, yeah, I do have that webcam. We got to try to figure out how, and so that will give us a little bit clearer camera. I think the sound is good enough, though, right? Everybody have good clear sound. I think the sound is good.
I think it only messes up when
we use that sometimes, but so we're gonna call it a night here. Thank you guys again for joining us, and as I said, stay tuned, guys, and
peace out. Even though it's not
good night, guys.